releasing photographs of the car yesterday. Police say Robert Davis was hit and killed by the vehicle August 21st at Commercial and 91st. The driver apparently took off after the incident. One man is in stable condition after he was stabbed at O'Hare. Police say two men got into an argument early this morning on the lower level of Terminal 5 before one of them pulled out a knife and stabbed the other in the stomach on a walkway bridge. Officers took the suspected attacker into custody and charges are pending. Both men are known to solicit passengers for cab rides. That is not allowed at O'Hare. Elgin police are searching for a Chicago man wanted for murder following the shooting that killed his sister over the weekend in Elgin. Police Chief Anna Lally said an arrest warrant for Shannon Smith has been issued after his sister, Sharpie Smith Tate, was shot and killed Sunday in the parking lot of D Hangout Bar and Grill.
We have continuously attempted to locate Mr. Smith through contact with his family, and at this point have exhausted all investigative means to locate him.
The incident began when several started arguing outside the bar and gunfire erupted. Two other women and a man were hospitalized with gunshot wounds as well. State police are investigating after two were shot in a moving car on Chicago's far south side. Authorities say a shooting involving two vehicles happened yesterday near South Halsted Street. The victims drove themselves to the hospital, where this morning they remain in stable condition. Two 16-year-old boys and a man and woman are wounded following a shooting on Chicago's far south side. They were shot overnight near 106th and Bensley. One of the teens remains hospitalized at this hour in critical condition. Three other victims, according to Chicago police, are in stable condition. Jury selection resumes today after a mandatory day off as a judge took care of other business in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. The officer charged in the deadly shooting of Laquan McDonald in 2014. 5 jurors were already chosen on Monday after being questioned by attorneys and a judge inside Cook County Court. Van Dyke's attorneys still maintain they will receive an unfair trial in Cook County and want the court case moved. Hotel workers in Chicago are entering their 6th day of a walkout. Thousands of employees at about 24 hotels continue to walk picket lines and have since Friday. They're demanding year-round health insurance, and as they negotiate new contracts, the union says the stoppage is the broadest coordinated hotel workers' strike the city has ever seen. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas thinking about joining the mayor's race in the city of Chicago. The veteran county politician announcing yesterday she's setting up an exploratory committee for a potential run at mayor, joining a long list of people, 12 strong, now weighing a bid after Mayor Emanuel announced he wasn't seeking re-election last week. The list also includes Johnny-come-latelys like Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle, Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza, and Congressman Luis Gutierrez. Japanese drug maker Takeda is closing its U.S. headquarters in north suburban Deerfield. The huge 3-building complex along the Tri-State Tollway employs 1,000. The work will be moved to Boston because of Takeda's acquisition of the biotech drug maker Shire in Ireland. The company says a number of Deerfield employees will be offered jobs elsewhere in the company. Chicago sports, Jose Quintana struck out 7 over 6 2/3 innings of work. Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0 at Wrigley Field. The lefty notching his 13th win of the season. Victor Caratini drove in 2 runs for the Northsiders, who pushed their lead over Milwaukee to 2 games. Brad Keller threw 7 innings of 1-run ball as the Royals topped the White Sox 6-3 in Kansas City. Cubs are still planning to play the Nationals in D.C. tomorrow, even as Hurricane Florence threatens the East Coast. The game was scheduled after Sunday's rainout. The Northsiders are entering their 23rd consecutive day with a scheduled game. The News is a service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, parents, students, and administrators visit pcadevzone.org. It's 5:07 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Charles Equipment Energy Systems and by The Income Store.
I used to post to job boards that sent me tons of resumes.
Just to find a few people who were right for my job.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply. So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
All right, we got a brand new wheat sub here. One grain bread. Do I hear any takers? One grain bread. All right, what about two grain bread? Let me get a taker for 2 grain. What about you, Jimmy John's? It's a firm head shake. No from Jimmy John's. How about three grain sub bread? 3 is not enough. How about 4 grain? Who wouldn't want 4 grains? Jimmy John's still a no. Let's go 5, 6, 7, 8. Want to make it rain? 8 grain. Jimmy John's still a no. All right, what about 9 grain wheat bread?
Yeah, we'll take it.
That's Jimmy John's new 9 grain wheat subs. Going once, going twice. Sold.
Try our new 9 grain wheat sub. Jimmy John's. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
It's 5:10. Let's get an update on the early morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. We welcome in Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Bishop Ford Freeway traffic is stop and go from 103rd to the Verge. There is some road construction in the right lane. This should be wrapping up shortly. Looking at about a 5 or 6 minute delay right now, starting at 103rd. Edens is fine. No delays to report at the Kennedy. Reversible should be opening shortly on the inbound side. The Eisenhower and the Stevenson look good. No delays to report at the Ryan. There is road work outbound. 87th split, 3 left lanes. I-57 clear, no problems to report on the tollways right now. Around Douglas Park, Sacramento is now blocked. Douglas 19th, Riot Fest. Closure scheduled until noon on Monday. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and our meteorologist this morning, Chris Morelli.
Today, look for patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly sunny skies, high 80. Tonight, mainly clear skies with some patchy late night fog, low 60. Thursday, patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly sunny, seasonably warm. Expect a high of 78. I'm Chris Morelli on AM 560, The Answer.
We haven't seen the fog this morning like we saw yesterday, but we'll keep our eyes out for it. 62 at O'Hare. 64 along the lakefront. It is 58 this morning in Aurora. And your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I want to get your reactions to open the show to President Trump's United 93 memorial ceremony speech. I thought it was quite a remarkable 15-minute review of the events of that day and the implications of that day and the heroism of the heroes of that day. Here's President Trump setting the scene. What a pack of pack from the 40 brave patriots on that flight did on 9/11/2001.
On September 11th, 2001, a band of brave patriots turned the tide on our nation's enemies and joined the immortal ranks of American heroes. At this memorial on this sacred earth, in the field beyond this wall, and in the skies above our heads, we remember the moment when America fought back.
It was his finest moment. I mean, he seemed presidential. He seemed genuinely saddened by the events that took place 17 years ago. And I love the fact that, well, you could play your sound first, but later on in the speech, he went through what happened and he named their names while after pointing to the family members. We are here because your loved ones are heroes.
17 years ago, your loved ones were among the 40 of Flight 93, the 40 passengers and crew members on board the 8 a.m. United Airlines flight from Newark to San Francisco. They were men and women from every background. They were young people returning from visiting family, moms and dads on business trips, and friends going and coming from birthdays and weddings. They boarded the plane as strangers, and they entered eternity, linked forever as true heroes.
Boarded the plane as strangers and entered eternity linked together as heroes. That's
beautiful.
Yeah, it was a beautiful turn of a phrase. And I agree with you that he made his that speech his own. And it frankly calls into question the demonization of Trump. And I tweeted out in response to that after watching that speech. So love him, hate him, or somewhere in between. Which is more plausible? That Trump is a plotting tyrant with the theatrical talent of Sir Laurence Olivier, because that would have been needed if it wasn't genuine to pull off that speech the way that he did. Or is it more plausible that Trump is a transactional cad who loves this country and is trying to do right by her? So a guy with a lot of flaws who's lived a colorful and sometimes dishonorable life. I think we've all had our moments of dishonor. His more pronounced than many. But which is it? Which is really Trump? Trump is a plotting authoritarian
dictator.
That's what's really going on here. That's what this administration, this president is really about. Is that plausible? He can give that speech in that way, and a speech doesn't change everything. A speech, we had a previous president who was good at reading from a teleprompter too. But connect Trump's behavior and the delivery of that speech and tell me again which is more plausible. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line.
And he went on to paint this picture of what they went through and how they worked together to really stop other Americans from being killed by terrorists.
Sandy Bradshaw, a flight attendant, called her husband and told him they were in the back of the plane preparing hot water to throw onto the hijackers. Passenger Jeremy Glick explained the plan to his wife and said, "Stay on the line, I'll be back." The passengers and crew members came together, took a vote, and they decided to act. At that moment, they took their fate and America's fate back into their own hands. In the last 20 minutes, many placed their final calls home, whispering those eternal words, "I love you."
And I like him recounting the individual names and the individual accounts of what happened that day. Mike Rowe offered another one. You know, Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs and Discovery. Mike Rowe offered another one of Tom Burnett. He reposted the transcript of Tom Burnett's call to his wife, Dina, transcripts of the calls. Because there was a few of them, and they're rather remarkable.
Are you going to make me cry?
Well,
I was crying all day yesterday, and just said a lot of time to say prayers for everyone who died, because it's just still painful.
Tom Burnett calling his wife, Dina, just listen, our plane has been hijacked. It's United 93 from Newark to San Francisco. We're in the air. The hijackers have already knifed a guy. One of them has a gun. They're telling us there's a bomb on board. Please call the authorities. And he hung up. I mean, even just the courage and the wherewithal to make that call to get the information out to alert authorities. Then he calls back again. And some of this, by the way, again, we mentioned yesterday, if you haven't seen United 93.
You have to see United 93. It's hard, bring tissue.
Yeah, it's really well done.
It's accurate, too.
So then he calls back. They're in the cockpit. The guy they knifed is dead. His wife said, he's dead? Yes, I tried to help, but I couldn't get a pulse. Tom, then she tells him what's happening. Tom, they're hijacking planes all and up and down the East Coast. They're taking them and hitting designated targets. They've already hit both towers of the World Trade Center. Tom says to Dina, they're talking about crashing this plane. It's a suicide mission. He's telling people around him, and she as well as her. He asked which airline is involved. She said at the time, I mean, just remember what we knew and didn't know and how fast we knew it. She says to him, they didn't know if they're commercial planes or not. The news reports are speculating cargo planes, private planes, and commercial. No one knows. How many planes are there? They're not sure. At least 3, maybe more, Dina says to Tom. Do you know who's involved? No. Tom tells her, we're turning back toward New York. We're going back to the World Trade Center. No, wait, we're turning back the other way. We're going south. Right? I mean, they're in the cockpit, probably trying to navigate the plane, the terrorists, and the passengers are trying to figure out what's going on, and they're having this communication with loved ones like Tom and like Tom and Dina are. The third call, she tells him, Dina, they just hit the Pentagon, and then he tells the people around him. He's just like, what else can you tell me? Dina said they think 5 airplanes have been hijacked. 1 is still on the ground. They believe all are commercial planes. I haven't heard them say which airline, but all of them originate on the East Coast. Do you know who's involved? No, Dina tells Tom. The fourth call. Anything new? No. Where are the kids? They're fine. Tell them I'll talk to them later. I called your parents. They know your plane has been hijacked. Oh, you shouldn't have worried them. How are they? This husband and wife. And then the last part of the last call. We're waiting until we're over a rural area. We're going to take back the plane. Dina tells Tom, no, sit down, be quiet, don't draw attention to yourself. Tom says, Dina, if they're going to crash this plane to the ground, we're going to have to do something. What about the authorities? Tom, we can't wait for the authorities. I don't know what they could do anyway. It's up to us. I think we can do it. What do you want me to do? Dina says to Tom. Pray. Just pray.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to goodclearwater.com. That's goodclearwater.com.
Hey, listen up and pay attention. It's Jimmy here with a very profound message. What you need to do is buy a Zeepa. Nobody wants to hear you snoring all the time. That's ZYPPAH.com. You're sleeping next to somebody and you know you're snoring and you're not doing anything about it? That's disrespect. So what you gotta do is get a Zeepa at ZYPPAH.com. That's ZYPPAH.com. Zeepa.com. Happy Z spelled backwards.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call the most honest lender in the mortgage business, Team Hochberg. Supporting veterans is Team Hochberg's passion. That's why they support Veteran Roasters. It's a Chicago coffee roaster with great coffee that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you would like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, then visit veteransroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee is delicious, and the profits are reinvested into hiring additional homeless veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. Veteran Roasters, they were on the ground for us, so buy these grounds from them. Now, if you're a veteran securing a VA loan, work with a lender who supports veterans. That lender is, of course, Team Hochberg. Call him at 312-751-1333 for straightforward, honest advice. Call Team Hochberg, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, NMLS 19186.
When you're looking for a caring dentist and an experienced dental staff who'll treat you like family, then it's time to call Dr. Y at Oaklawn Dental LLC. Dr. Yerkes and his team will create a smile that you'll want to share with family and friends. Go to oaklawndentist.com for a complete list of services, or call Oaklawn Dental for an appointment with Dr. Y at 708-424-5700. And for a limited time, get a $100 credit on your new account. Call 708-424-5700. Oaklawn Dental LLC, for the smile you deserve.
Dr. Bob Arnott for Salonpas. I'm training for the world's most grueling paddleboard race. 32 miles of open ocean, high winds and surf. Naturally, I get a lot of muscle pain. 50 years in medicine has taught me what to look for in a pain reliever. Powerful, targeted, non-addictive, and available without a prescription. I found it in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus. It has 2 powerful anesthetics that numb nerves right where it hurts. Salonpas gives me relief.
Coins and currency are full of history. Coins and currency are fun to look at. Coins and currency can be great investments and a great hobby, too. Here's your opportunity to see one of the largest coin shows in the nation, and it's free. Make plans now to attend the 59th Coin and Currency Show, presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association. The show is at Mega Center at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, September 20th through the 22nd. Admission and parking are free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of dealers, the best from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars, U.S. and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. This is a show for the whole family. Ask about the kids auction, collectors, investors, or if you just want to find out more about coins, currency, and collectibles, this show is a can't miss. The 59th Coin and Currency Show, presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, September 20th through the 22nd, at the Mega Center at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Admission and parking are free with your photo ID. Get more information at ilnaclub.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about Trump in Shanksville, Pennsylvania for that United 93 memorial ceremony at which...
it's a really nice memorial they unveiled.
It is. They've got the wind chimes, the Tower of Voice, is that what they call it? Tower of Voices.
The Tower of Voices.
Right, the 40 chimes representing the 40 people who were killed, murdered on that United 93 flight.
I want to go see it now.
Trump had a number of rhetorical flourishes in his remarks, including the close.
We will remember the 40. We will remember their faces. their voices, their stories, their courage, and their love. And we will remember that free people are never at the mercy of evil, because our destiny is always in our hands.
Free people are never at the mercy of evil. Free people never at the mercy of evil. It's a great phrase, and it's great because it's true. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what? That was very chilling, Dan, and I never heard that before, and I thank you for doing it, what you read. But the point I want to make is that Trump was a billionaire, or at least had a lot of money, and the fact that he ran for the highest land in the office, he had to know that it was a tremendous amount of exposure, and he made all his money on his own. Now, you compare that to Obama, Clinton, Rahm Emanuel, all the money they ever made was through the government. So you tell me a guy who was plotting and trying to, whatever the liberals are trying to say Trump is, it just doesn't make sense. But yet they control the media, and that's the narrative that's going to play. Have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed. It was interesting. So powerful was Trump's speech. Even CNN and your best boyfriend, David Gergen.
He's so dreamy.
So weird. I mean,
there's something about him. But other women agree. People have crushes on David Gergen.
Mrs. Gergen doesn't agree. But here was Poppy Harlow and David Gergen taking right from the feed of Trump's speech and reacting in real time.
Quite a tribute there to the American lives lost, murdered on 9/11 from the president speaking just now in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. David Gergen is back with me. And David, in the words of the president, they boarded that plane as strangers and they entered eternity forever, linked as heroes.
Beautifully written. Very thoughtful speech by the president. I think easily one of his best speeches. For a moment, Poppy, one could almost forget the chaos around us, the acrimony, the poison, and come together. And you can only hope that the president will navigate that course again, that he will understand that the kind of speech he gave today brings us back together and helps in that regard. And that if he will lead the way, maybe we can find our way to a better place as a nation.
So
let me absorb that.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Let's let that sink in.
Right, picture David Gergen whispering that into your
ear.
Yeah. The comb over and the it's so hot. Oh my God. But that is the those are the kindest words you're ever going to hear from CNN about President Trump, so we thought we'd memorialize that.
Right, because then coming up later in the show, how NBC News completely ignored. They showed one image of him in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. We'll discuss.
Coming up at 5:38, though, we're going to talk to the CEO and co-founder of Honor Flight Chicago. They're making their 88th trip to Washington, D.C. on this day. We'll talk to Mary Pettinato about it at 5:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are fair this morning, 57 degrees, but all eyes are on a Category 4 hurricane barreling toward the U.S. East Coast. Carolina Beach resident Alora Burton is preparing to evacuate ahead of Hurricane Florence. Florence is expected to bring life-threatening storm surge and rainfall to portions of the Carolinas and mid-Atlantic states. National Hurricane Center says Florence is expected to slow down considerably as it approaches the Carolinas by late tomorrow into Friday. That will bring a major flooding event to the area and still a dangerous major hurricane as it slows down. Perhaps a Category 3, maybe a Category 2, but again, still very dangerous with storm surge and with serious flooding. The EPA is keeping an eye on Florence and the risk it poses to contaminated Superfund sites in the southeast. 9 sites the agency is looking at in and around South Carolina. They range from old smelter sites to Marine Corps facilities like Cherry Point and Parris Island. Parts of Hawaii are beginning to experience Tropical Storm Olivia. Rain is falling on the Big Island, winds picking up as the storm nears the state. Violence is on the rise in Afghanistan. Ahead of that country's upcoming elections, government spokesman this morning says 68 died in a suicide attack during a protest in eastern Afghanistan, 165 severely wounded. 5 suspects will be arraigned later today in a New Mexico compound case. All 5 were indicted yesterday by a federal grand jury in Albuquerque on firearm and conspiracy charges. The indictment claims they transported firearms and ammunition from Georgia to New Mexico in December to create a training camp and firing range near the Colorado border. This morning, a man is in stable condition, stabbed at O'Hare. 2 16-year-old boys, a man and a woman wounded following a shooting on Chicago's far south side. Chicago police say the shooting took place near 106th and Bensley. Jury selection expected to resume in the murder trial of police officer Jason Van Dyke after the effort was called off due to a scheduling conflict yesterday for the judge. And Japanese drug maker Takeda closing its U.S. headquarters in north suburban Deerfield. The huge 3-building complex employs 1,000. The work will be moved to Boston. The company says a number of those Deerfield employees will be offered jobs elsewhere. Well, if you're looking for a sweet treat for lunch today, how about a suggestion? Ice cream and chocolate lovers are rejoicing it is National Chocolate Milkshake Day. Did you know that milkshakes were first introduced in the late 1800s and were originally alcoholic? They were eggnog-like beverages. They turned non-alcoholic treats in the early 1900s. However, they did not include ice cream until 1920. Jose Quintana struck out 7 over 6 2/3 innings of shutout ball as the Cubs blanked the Brew Crew 3-0 at Wrigley Field.
It's fun, you take that blues like that, it's so important, and we stay in the first place, you can't go to the bed good, so it's a good feeling.
Lefty notching his 13th win of the year. Brad Keller, 7 innings of 1-run ball. Royals top the White Sox 6-3 in Casey. The news service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, inviting you to take steps for cures at a walk-event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher will give you information the mainstream media won't.
The Labor Department announced that 203,000 people applied for jobless benefits last week. That is the lowest level since December of 1969. Can I repeat that? The lowest level since December of 1969.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't you love fall and sleeping with the windows open? But are you really sleeping as well as you could? The MyPillow buy one, get one free offer is back for September. And if you haven't bought your MyPillow yet, here's your chance to get one for yourself, a loved one, or maybe as a gift. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need regardless of my sleep position. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. MyPillow is made in America, washable, dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus that 60-day full money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for this great buy one, get one free deal on premium MyPillows. You can also get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, pet beds that my dog Bunky loves, luxury Geyser cotton sheets, and more. Call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
Good morning, my favorite daughter. Welcome to the Auto Hahn Ride Share. I'm your driver, Catherine Hahn.
If you'd care for a beverage, just open the Stow & Go storage system and you'll find juice boxes and animal crackers.
Mom, not this again.
In-ride entertainment is available with the UConnect Theater. There's games, apps, and all my favorite movies already queued up.
Bored.
Here at AutoHon, safety is our top concern. That's why we only drive the Chrysler Pacifica. Here we are. I expect a 5-star review.
The Chrysler Pacifica. Up your van game. Chrysler is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period.
5:37 and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Eisenhower Expressway outbound traffic stop and go from Harlem to First Avenue. There's a crash. Crews are responding in about 35 minutes downtown to 390. Inbound 32. Heavy 9th Avenue, First Avenue. Eden's clear right now. Kennedy looking good. Express lanes have opened on the inbound side. Stevenson, traffic hitting the brakes. Central to Pulaski, and Demon to the Bryan. 39 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Bryan, 18 minutes, 95 to downtown, outbound 15. Roadwork, 87 split. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the verge after overnight work finished. Bishop Ford, 20 minutes, 80-94 to the Rhine. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. We'll see a little bit of patchy morning fog throughout the early morning hours. Then sunshine clears it out with a high near 80 this afternoon. 62 at O'Hare, 58 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and we were talking about the 9/11 ceremony, the president's words yesterday. Remembering everyday heroes on United 93. Also, it was interesting. I saw this at realclearpolitics.com. There was a ground level video footage from the day, from 9/11, 2001, at the World Trade Center that was recently released after a series of FOIA lawsuits to release this footage by the government. And it was chilling.
Well,
fascinating.
Yeah.
Some of the interviews of these journalists that were on the ground in real time as this was happening. I mean, you see the World Trade Center buildings smoldering before they collapse, and then there's instances of people of journalists talking to first responders on the ground, talking to people who had just escaped one of the burning towers. One everyday hero, just to give you a flavor of it, and just so we remember the everyday heroes whose names sort of fade into our memories, but should be memorialized in history. One is a gentleman named Mike Benfanti, who had just escaped the World Trade Center, talked about what just happened.
I had 40 people in there, just an explosion. There's a light flash out my window. My whole doorway to the entrance to my office blew open. My office was freaking out. And I just told them to calm down and get to the center of the office. Everybody was fine on my floor, and we just started heading down the stairs. I heard people were trapped in the bathroom. I ran to the bathroom. It was just blown out. I asked if anybody was in there. People weren't in there. So I started going down the steps. I heard people shouting. I stopped at like 68, and there's a woman in a wheelchair, and I got her in the strap wheelchair and just carried her down the steps and carried her down 68 floors, man. And then we got lost on the 5th floor. It was chaos. It was just,
what do you work for?
Network Plus communications company out of Randolph, Mass.
How do you spell it?
Mike Benfanti, Benfante.
It's everyday heroes like Benfante who helped the 60-year-old woman in a wheelchair.
wheelchair.
And I mean, you see the scenes, and it's it's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible. But it's important to remember, and it's important to remember heroes from who've served our country going back to World War II
And the Korean War.
Korean War. I mean, people who have served our country from World War II forward who are still with us, as well as the heroes from our country's founding forward. And one of the organizations that does a great job of that, of course, is Honor Flight. Mary Pettinato is the CEO and co-founder of Honor Flight Chicago. They're making their 88th trip to Washington, D.C. today, and she joins us to tell us a little bit about that. Mary, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
So
excited to be here.
Well, thank you. And so who's
Mary?
Who's on the flight today?
Hi, Amy. So today we have 98 World War II and Korean War heroes who are so excited to join us. We've got Jake Moulter, who was supposed to fly last month but had a fall and had to cancel, and they thought he'd never be able to fly again. He took a turn for the better, and he's excited and waving at everyone, saying, I'm back, I'm here. I'm so excited that I can fly today. So we've got 15 World War II heroes and 84 Korean War heroes. And, the Korean War was really never recognized. It was called a conflict for many, many years. These veterans cry when we invite them to fly with us. They called it the Forgotten War, and now 60-plus years later, we're finally remembering it.
And it's so special. I was able to go with you guys back in 2011, I do believe, and water cannons greet you when you arrive at Washington Dulles Airport, and it's really a hero's welcome along the way, and even when you arrive back home. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. And I should add that I talked to veterans from that trip, and they still say, Amy Jacobson kissed me.
I was wheelchair candy.
Boy,
So the trip is all about every opportunity that we can to say thank you. From the time we land at Dulles Airport, and there's a water cannon salute, and the veterans just look out the window and see this the fire cannons on either side hitting the plane, and it forms the shape of a V, and it V for victory. It's the highest honor you can bestow on a retiring pilot or a plane. Captain Sullenberger was given a water cannon salute when he retired. From there to police escorts all through D.C. Imagine 5 motor coach buses being escorted by police, and everyone has to pull off the road because heroes are coming. And they look up thinking it's a rock and roll band, and they realize that it's our American heroes. So we go to, Air Force Memorial, Lincoln Korean and Vietnam Memorial, World War II, and the last stop is to see the Enola Gay and the planes that that covered many of our soldiers and from World War II and Korea. And then we get back on the plane, and unbeknownst to the veterans, we've done mail call.
Oh,
just
that's
like they
so
had
emotional.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah, and
Amy?
they'd ask you if you're a volunteer, if you ever can volunteer. They ask you have to read. Some of them have a hard time reading or seeing the words, so you have to read the letters to them, and it's just waterworks. It's so beautifully written, and just things that people wanted to say to their grandpa or their husband or their dad that they never said before.
One veteran said on last flight, yesterday, I was able to read my own eulogy. He said, my children wrote about how much I meant to them and how much I've imparted to them and the lessons that they've learned thanks to my guidance.
That's awesome.
How lucky can one get?
That's awesome.
So then now they're clutching their mail to their chest, and the welcome home of a lifetime is at Midway Airport. It's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard standing at attention, saluting bagpipers, and hundreds of people at Midway Airport that are out to say thank you.
Well, and don't forget, also part of that welcome home is the Amy Jacobson kissing booth at Midway Airport.
We'll be up and running this year.
So you have that.
And before we say that, we're going to have to call security. I'm not sure if we can handle the crowd.
Oh,
no, exactly.
Really, get in line,
sure.
please.
Yeah. There's no question about that.
Well, how can people?
And I'm not kidding.
Yeah. Well, how can people help out and donate to this cause? Because it really is. It's life changing. If you ever can volunteer, it sticks with you for the rest of your life because it means the world to these veterans.
Absolutely. So as far as the most important way that they could help is to donate. We normally have 7 flights per year, and this year we had to cut it down to 6 because we just didn't have the donations to make that 7th flight. So it costs $1,200 to fly one American hero for an all expense paid, everything. There's just nothing that we scrimp at. And any help, $1, $5, $10, anything that you could do to help. We had a little boy, a 6-year-old, in the last flight, missing his 2 front teeth, that walked up at the end of the day and said, I just got my allowance. Will this dollar help to get my grandpa or someone else on the trip? Yes. So any amount helps.
And I mean, and there's a sense of urgency about this too. I don't mean to be macabre, but not just World War II veterans, but Korean War veterans are getting up in age too. And so, obviously, 88 trips. You've served thousands of veterans, but there's many more to serve just in the Chicago area.
Absolutely, we have over 1,500 on our waiting list.
Okay.
And the average age is 87, so it's a sacrilege to have any on our waiting list. And with help, we hope to have many, many, many more flights honoring all of our American heroes.
The website again, people can...
HonorFlightChicago.org, HonorFlightChicago.org. And many of our seniors who may be listening can also call us at 773-227-VETS, VETS, or 8387. 773-227-8387.
And the website, again, honorflightchicago.org. Mary Pettinano, thanks so much for joining us and for your great work. Honor Flight Chicago's great work. Have fun today and have safe travels.
Thank you so much, both Dan and Amy. And this flight is our 8,000th veteran that we're celebrating.
Wow.
So we've flown more veterans than any other honor flight in the country, and we're quite proud of that.
That's awesome. That's a nice thing to be prideful of here in Chicago. Mary, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Cheers.
And I have to tell you, it is a long day. They pick up veterans at 5 in the morning, and you travel so many different places. You get home at about 9 o'clock at night, but it is worth it just to meet different veterans. And 3 of the ones, gentlemen that I was proud enough to wheel around Washington, D.C. have passed away, but they were so grateful for that moment. So if you know anybody, if you have a loved one who's a World War II veteran or a Korean War veteran, please call Honor Flight Chicago and hook them up with a flight. And Mary joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, join the Heartland Institute and me on Friday, October 26th for the 34th anniversary benefit dinner at the Cotillion in Palatine. I will be your MC, and the featured speaker will be Judge Andrew Napolitano from the Fox News Channel. Judge Napolitano is nationally known for watching and reporting on the government, and his no-holds-barred, hard-hitting commentary on government overreach and the abuse of our rights. Register today to reserve your VIP tickets or a whole table and meet Judge Napolitano. His important and unforgettable speech will be on the Constitution and human freedom. Also be there to help celebrate the lives of 2 people who have dedicated their lives to advancing liberty. Heartland Liberty Prize winners Joe Bast, the co-founder and former president of the Heartland Institute, and his wife Diane. Don't be held in contempt. Join the Heartland Institute and me, Judge Napolitano, on Friday, October 26th at the Cotillion in Palatine. For tickets or information, call 312-377-4000 or visit heartland.org. That's 312-377-4000 or heartland.org. I'll see you there.
I still remember Frankie and Mr. Schwartz from Betty Schwartz Apparel. Do you remember that store, Dan? When you were coming of age and
Betty
you had to
Schwartz
get a bra.
Apparel, sure.
when you had
I
to
was
get your first
developing,
bra.
Yeah.
Hey, with the recent rainy weather, Permaseal is working hard to help homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, but they need your help. Permaseal is hiring in all departments: sales, customer service, installation, and they're looking for people with a great work ethic, positive attitude, ambitious, and they want to learn new skills and have a desire to make the world a better, drier place. Does this sound like you? Then go to permaseal.net/careers to apply today. No experience is needed. Permaseal will teach you to become an expert in waterproofing and foundation repair. Their experienced team offers great training, year-round work, tremendous growth opportunities, and a great, fun work environment. To apply, go to permaseal.net/careers. And if you're looking for a career change or a dry basement, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-SEAL. 7325 or go to permaseal.net.
I used to post to job boards that sent me tons of resumes.
Just to find a few people who were right for my job.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply. So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of higher sites with over 1,000 reviews.
All right, we got a brand new wheat sub here. 1 grain bread. Do I hear any takers? 1 grain bread. All right, what about 2 grain bread? Let me get a taker for 2 grain. What about you, Jimmy John's? It's a firm head shake. No from Jimmy John's. How about 3 grain sub bread? 3 is not enough. How about 4 grain? Who wouldn't want 4 grains? Jimmy John's still a no. Let's go 5, 6, 7, 8. Want to make it rain? 8 grain. Jimmy John's still a no. All right, what about 9 grain wheat bread?
Wheat, yeah, we'll take it.
That's Jimmy John's new 9 grain wheat subs. Going once, going twice. Sold.
Try our new 9 grain wheat sub. Jimmy John's. Wheat, yeah, freak yeah.
Hey, visit Maxson Shooter Supplies in Des Plaines on this Saturday for 6 Hour Day. You'll be able to shoot dozens of 6 Hour firearms for only $10. Listen to this. If you're one of the first 50 event shooters, you'll get a free SIG hat and keychain. Also included with the event fee is a chance to win a P365 6 Hour's hottest new pistol. All 6 Hour firearms and accessories are on sale, including 6 Hour ammunition. Maxson Shooter Supplies is in Des Plaines, serving Chicagoland for 60 years, and Illinois' first 5-star range is conveniently located right near O'Hare. Information and directions for Maxson and this Saturday's 6 Hour event can be found at maxsonshooters.com/SIG Day. That's MAXON shooters.com or call 847-298-4867. Don't miss 6 Hour Day at Maxson this Saturday, September 15th.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can
Call Crumweedy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
Call Crumweedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Without further ado.
Hi, I'm Patty Fritz, Precision Payroll's first employee. Yes, I'm real. I love working with my team and our clients and providing the best service and support. Hard to believe it's been that long. But when you love what you do, it's great. And I do love what we do at Precision Payroll. I didn't start for myself either.
That's right, Patty. I was there day one, and I'm still working with you today. Hi, I'm Jack Bishop, owner of Priority Logistics in Elk Grove, and Precision Payroll's first client. Yes, I'm real too. Precision Payroll has served us exceptionally for 35 years. We've grown together over the years, and I look forward to many more to come.
Jack and Patty, thank you both for making Precision Payroll of America a great company to do business with. To join our growing ranks of clients, visit us at precisionpayroll.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, since we were talking about flights, honor flight, here was an honorable thing that an American Airlines pilot did. You see this? American Airlines Flight 2354 delayed at Wichita Falls Regional Airport because of weather.
Yeah, it was diverted there, right?
Yeah.
They had to...
and the pilot sort of provided some aid and comfort. I mean, think about being stranded in Wichita Falls.
I've been to that airport. Not a lot going on, I can tell you that much.
So
you can go for a 5-mile run, though. I did.
Okay. Well,
I mean, there's one concession stand, and they're not really selling food.
Well,
it's really spares.
This ingenious pilot
What did he do?
made life a little bit better for the stranded passengers. You would have missed out on this if you were on the flight. You would have been running on the tarmac, but other people would have been enjoying pizza because he ordered 40 pizzas for all the stranded passengers.
That's spectacular.
Yeah.
And he paid for it and tipped the pizza delivery guy, I hope?
Yeah,
hey, you got to fork over some cash.
He jogged over to a Papa John's delivery driver and brought 40 pizza boxes back. Food was handed out to the passengers and took off. And then, ultimately they made their way to DFW, their destination.
That is so cool.
How about that?
Have you ever been diverted? Where you're supposed to, like to Milwaukee or Rockford or...
Have I ever been on a flight diverted to another airport?
Yeah. It's
Not
kind
that
of
I can-
unsettling.
Not that I can think of. Why? Could you think like something
you think
mechanical is going
or
wrong?
then
They
you
need to
think
make an
there's-
emergency landing or something.
Yeah. And then you think, oh, what's going on in the world? Is there another 9/11 happening? What's going on? Are they really telling us the truth? And
Yeah, I'm not jumpy about air travel. It would be a problem being a pilot if private pilot, my little Cessna, if I was. So I'm not really jumpy about that. But it is interesting to think about 17 years later how jumpy people were, understandably, after 9/11.
Oh, people canceled weddings. People didn't go to weddings and family gatherings. And I really thought the airline industry was going to shut down.
Well, remember,
for a while.
There was...
Which it did. I mean, O'Hare Airport was closed for days.
And there was a significant bailout of the major carriers. People forget about that
Oh,
as
that's
well.
right. The government bailout.
Yeah.
And then TSA began.
Yes. Well, that's a good...
government employees, yes.
That's a good example of the typical government overreaction and misapplying the wrong remedy to the security issue at airports, because I don't think federalizing TSA has netted out particularly well in retrospect, but that's the government.
Coming up on...
I have to go home. I have to go home. I have to go home.
Yeah, and Dr. What was his name?
Dr. Dow.
Dow, yeah, Dr. Dow agrees with me.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Tucker Carlson reignites the diversity debate. We'll pick it up at 6:06.
And banning the freedom of expression through clothing. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
A Chicago man wanted in an Elgin shooting. Jury selection resuming today in the Van Dyke murder trial. A Cook County treasurer eyeing a mayoral run. The Cubs blanked the Brewers. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
More people are fleeing the Carolina coast. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're escaping what could be a disaster for us, and we're protecting our family.
I'm really scared about this hurricane, and that's why we're leaving.
A lot of people have hit the road as Hurricane Florence approaches amid evacuation orders from Virginia to South Carolina.
Those that heeded the advice to leave hit the roads yesterday, leading to major backups along the South Carolina coast. At around noon, the state reversed the direction of many of the roads, allowing all traffic to move out of the area.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro in Myrtle Beach. There have been long gas lines, a lot of empty store shelves, no bottled water in a lot of places.
The waves and the wind this storm may bring is nothing like you've ever seen.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, dangerous storm surge is one concern as Florence is still a Category 4 hurricane.
Where does the stall happen? Does it happen before it makes landfall? Does it happen after it makes landfall? And then does it move southward? We are not sure.
That's Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. It's expected that Florence would hit Thursday into Friday, but the stall could have it lingering for days along the coast or inland, leading to fears of rain measured in feet and dangerous floods. President Trump says the government is ready to respond, will spare no expense. He also says after Hurricane Maria, he praised the way they handled Puerto Rico.
I actually think it was one of the best jobs that's ever been done with respect to what this is all about. Puerto Rico got hit not with one hurricane, but with two.
And the president just tweeted that they did an unappreciated great job there, even though in an inaccessible island with very poor electricity and a totally incompetent mayor of San Juan. The president also said Florence is even bigger than anticipated. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Olivia is starting to move over Hawaii. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Fair skies, 57 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A man is in stable condition, stabbed at O'Hare. Police say two men got into an argument early this morning on the lower level of Terminal 5 before one took out a knife and stabbed the other. Officers took the suspected attacker into custody. Charges are pending. Both men are known to solicit passengers for cab rides, and that's not supposed to happen at O'Hare. Elgin police are searching for a Chicago man wanted for murder following a shooting that killed his own sister over the weekend. Police Chief Anna Lally said an arrest warrant was issued for Shannon Smith after his sister, Sharpie Smith Tate, was shot and killed on Sunday.
We have continuously attempted to locate Mr. Smith through contact with his family, and at this point have exhausted all investigative means to locate him.
Jury selection expected to resume in the murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke after the effort was called off for the day due to scheduling conflicts for the judge. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas is thinking about joining the mayor's race in Chicago. The veteran county politician yesterday announcing she is setting up an exploratory committee for a potential run for mayor. She joins a long list now weighing a potential bid after Mayor Emanuel announced he was not seeking re-election. And the U.S. military says human remains found decades ago on a Pacific island have been identified as those of a U.S. Marine from northwest Indiana. Defense POW MIA accounting agency says PFC Leonard Tima's remains were identified using dental, anthropological, and chest radiograph comparison analysis. The 21-year-old from Dyer died November 20th, 1943, during the first waves of U.S. 2nd Marine Division assault on a small island in the Tarara Atoll of the Gilbert Islands. Jose Quintana struck out 7 over 6 2/3 of shutout ball. Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0. Royals beat the White Sox 6-3 in KC. The news service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA is a national nonprofit offering more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches and administrators visit PCADevZone.org. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains how important energy production is to the United States.
Don't think now that it's an accident that America is the biggest producer of oil now in the entire world. This has always been the key to American foreign policy success. Why do you think all these years, why have I always pushed energy independence?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy inbound traffic is heavy from 190 to Foster. It's 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 20, eastbound Eden Spur. Slow traffic. The toll plaza to Waukegan Road. Inbound Eisenhower traffic is knotted up. Mannheim to Des Plaines Avenue and Demon to the Burn Circle. 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 45, heavy central to First Avenue, where there was an earlier crash. Now Stevenson delays. Lamont Road to Cass. First Avenue to Pulaski and Western to the Ryan. 49 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Southbound 55 is heavy Veterans Parkway to before 126 road work. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, 90 to the Merge. Bishop, 436. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Chris Morelli.
Today we'll see some patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly sunny, high 80. Tonight mainly clear with some patchy late night fog, low 60. Thursday, patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly sunny and seasonably warm. Look for a high of 78. I'm Chris Morelli on AM 560 The Answer.
62 at O'Hare. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. The best picnic food in Chicago comes from tastycatering.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Tucker Carlson there on the Tucker Carlson Show on the Fox News Channel. Sort of sparked a little bit of a debate, mostly among cable news talking heads, but it's a worthy debate in the context of 9/11, remembering 9/11 yesterday. And it's about diversity. Tucker Carlson offered this monologue on Friday talking about how e pluribus unum, our national motto from many one, has been replaced by diversity is our strength. But is diversity our strength? That's a question he asked. Or is there something that necessarily binds us as Americans, and something that better bind us as Americans, lest civil society descend into madness and division and unrest? Tucker Carlson been criticized by the left, of course, if you challenge the notion that diversity is strength. That's the important thing about America. Then you're de facto racist and sexist and suffer from all the phobias and are purveyor of all the isms and so forth. Well, he picked up this debate yesterday or the other day, I'm not sure, maybe it was Monday, but in the context again of remembering 9/11 and talking about national unity. It's an important discussion to revisit. Here's Tucker Carlson responding to his critics.
America is a country the size of a continent with 325 million people in it. What holds all of that together? What's the glue? It certainly doesn't need to be ethnicity or religion, but it does need to be something. Countries don't remain united without a reason. What's ours? You'd think our elites would be staying up late thinking about that. They're not. They haven't given it a thought, and they don't want you to give it a thought either. Diversity is our strength, they shout. It's an inadequate response from an inadequate leadership class. Meanwhile, they fan the flames of mindless tribalism. Division helps them maintain their power, even even as it destroys our country. They have no interest in national unity. They have no interest in the nation state itself, actually. That's merely a barrier to their advancement. But there are a lot of people, including us, who still care about America, the nation. And it's worth thinking about why we are still a country. What do we all have in common? What do we all believe? What's the American idea?
What do we all have in common? What's the tie that binds? Is it diversity and a belief that diversity is our strength? Or is it something more profound than that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. It was interesting. He made note that fanning the flames of division is how the elites stay in power. Well, that's exactly the same thing that Barack Obama said on Friday at U of I. Precisely the same thing, that Donald Trump is a symptom of the times, a function of the resentment that politicians have flamed over time. Of course, he excluded himself, and I would include him at the top of the list of people who fan the flames of resentment and promoted division. But it was interesting that they see the same issue, as do I. There's no question. But diversity, that's the big idea. Diversity needs an agent, or diversity happens naturally. People are different sexes. People are different races. People have different faiths. Does that need a political sponsor? Does diversity need to be squired around by the federal government, or does it just happen in the context of a nation of 330 million people? And if it happens in the context, regardless of any oversight or micromanagement, then why is that our strength? Something more profound must be our strength, right?
Right. Well, diversity isn't this diversity?
What in the hell's diversity?
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
Yes, that also. It's the Ron Burgundy People's History of the United States. There's no question about that.
But diversity is what makes our country unique.
Well,
I mean, in a way, because if we were all, the same homogeneous, it would be boring. We are diverse, and that's why people came from all different lands to make America what it is.
Right. So what's
a
right?
Diverse place.
Exactly. So
it
what
shouldn't have attached a negative connotation to it? The word, being diverse.
Should it have a positive connotation? Here's the example I always use: is diversity our strength? Okay. Is that the tie that binds us? Okay. So three black gentlemen are having a conversation, and we introduce a neo-Nazi. The group has become more diverse. Has it become stronger?
Why doesn't it be? Why can't it just be a blonde Swede?
Because that doesn't make my point. My point is to say that the problem with the introduction of the neo-Nazi is what? That the neo-Nazi is white? No. The problem is that the neo-Nazi believes that the black gentlemen are inferior to him. He's wrong. He doesn't share the same values. He doesn't have the same understanding that we're the Christian ideal on which this nation was founded, that everyone is equal in the eyes of God, and everyone should be equal in the eyes of the law here. Same rights, responsibilities.
Yep.
Right? So the reason that more diverse group got weaker is because you introduce somebody who doesn't believe in the shared values of this country. So that's why. It's not opposition to diversity, because that's a pointless conversation. It happens naturally and fine. That's not the problem. The problem is when you make non-behavioral characteristics like your race, your sex, your religion, the only thing that defines, and the thing by which you must be categorized. And importantly, and oh, by the way, this is something, freed slave Frederick Douglass argued against. You start to confer benefits or impose responsibilities based on those non-behavioral characteristics, which is what we've done. Create classes of people who are entitled to something based on those non-behavioral characteristics, or who must shoulder a burden based on those non-behavioral characteristics. That's when you divide people up. That's when you engender resentment. That's when you fan the flames of division. And that's what Tucker Carlson is getting to. in point of fact, those people who count by race as the means to get a colorblind society and every other non-behavioral characteristic I mentioned, they are the ones who are suffering from the isms and the phobias they like to project on others. Craig in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. Yeah, it's definitely freedom. That separates us from the other countries and other places. I mean, but all different people have different things. Like some are coming here with the hope of freedom. There's the people that are here that are being held together by the freedom that they have and in being able to take and excel and being able to take and make money and being able to have different things that people in other lands can't have.
Thanks for the call, Craig. Appreciate that. Well, and just to Craig's point, this is why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Colin Kaepernick, Kamala Harris, all the other socialists of the Democrats, I don't care if they're blonde Swedes or Latina or black or white or wherever they come from, whatever they believe in terms of their faith tradition, don't care. The idea of a government-centric society is an anathema to the foundation of this country. So socialism, which is just a slow-walking totalitarianism, is not consistent with our shared values. And if that becomes the shared experience of this country, then America will cease to be the America that it has been, not just upon which it was founded, that it has been for the last 240 years. So sort of important, these big ideas. So when Tucker Carlson makes the point that we should be thinking about the ties that bind us or should bind us, and we should be having those conversations and making those arguments rather than just cult of personality politics, which is so much easier and so much cheaper. Candace in DuPage.
Dan, those are really great points. DeSantis and Ted Cruz, in my opinion, are struggling because they cannot articulate what you just articulated. They're putting labels, like you said, on things, which really, for the millennials, isn't enough context. And I think that's why I'm fairly scared about both elections being so close. They shouldn't be at all. But you're right, there's no education. And when my grandmother and grandfather, he was a German, she was Danish, when they came here in some program, they never spoke their native language again because they were so proud to be American. And when my grandfather died of a heart attack and my grandmother was widowed and she needed to go work, she went and worked for a Jewish man who sold suits, and she was a seamstress. So, I mean, e pluribus one, it works, and it has always worked. And you're right. I think that he poked a hornet's nest with this whole thing because it's just so much truth, and we're in such a crazy world right now where truth is hated.
Thanks for the call, Candace. Just again to that end, you have to make arguments, like cogent arguments where there is a thesis and evidence to support the thesis and a contemplation of the antithesis. I mean, that's the way you persuade people, give them the whole picture. But I agree with what Candace was saying. Too many politicians who believe what Tucker Carlson was saying or what I just articulated, they fall into the trap of just playing the label game with the left. The label game doesn't get you anywhere, which is why you can call me a racist all day, and Tucker Carlson clearly feels the same way, because that's all you have to offer is a label. You can expose your anti-intellectualism. You can expose your ignorance all day and call me all the names under the sun because I know who I am and I can articulate what I believe and why I believe it, to give lie to the labels. But that's what you have to do. You have to give lie to the label, and you don't do it by just responding with a label. Then it's just the label game. That's a loser. It's a loser for the Republican Party, to put it in the context of partisan politics, but more importantly, it's a loser for the country.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
They raised my taxes in the middle of the recession, and my house was not worth the value that they claimed it was.
That's how it works in Illinois. Even when your home value decreases, your property taxes continue to increase.
We pay the bill, but I have no money to pay for having a meal.
The government is stealing your home. Listen to Mike S. in Naperville.
We're overtaxed, and my home value is not appreciated because of how much we're paying in property taxes.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people, taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and
Damie,
we're talking about
aw.
diversity. Isn't that fun?
What was those?
Mashups, yeah. Like, wait, what was Benifer?
Benifer.
Sure. It's a classic.
Who else?
So many. Was there a J-Lo? Was there Justin Timberlake and Jennifer Lopez? I mean, she's dated everybody else. I don't know.
She never dated Justin Timberlake. Scarborough. John, Mika, Joe and Mika.
Oh, Joyka.
Joyka.
That's what we'll talk about Joyka in a second after
Yes.
the news. But we're talking about what binds us as a nation. Is diversity our strength? Tucker Carlson sparked a bit of a discussion on it with the commentaries in his show the last couple nights. Joe in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one, Dan, with label politics, because the American public went through Jimmy John sandwich yesterday. They want everything so quick, and they don't have time to. And they're just so shallow. They don't think about these things. Cortez could come out and say socialism. We're going to give everybody everything, but no one's going to sit down and have the debate with her and have the honest discussion of how is one going to pay for it. Even though I wish I could agree with you, Dan, the American public is so dumbed down. I think that it's past the tipping point.
All right. Well, thanks for the call,
That's true.
Joe.
Everybody wants free stuff, especially college students. Oh, that sounds great. And they don't care who's going to pay for it, but somebody else is paying for it.
Here's what I would say to that, though. One is I think it's a little bit of a bootstrap argument, and that's what politicians use to avoid having to make the argument because it's more difficult, it's more time-consuming, takes more effort. It's just easier to play the labels game. And so people take the path of least resistance as long as they don't lose their benefits by doing so. So I think there's a little bit of a low expectations game that we've played too. People don't know what they don't know. People don't miss what they can't conceive. And in our politics these days, it's difficult to even conceive of what I'm talking about because outside of maybe Ben Sass, you don't have too many elected officials connecting dots for people, making arguments. But this is how you move public opinion. So you can choose to say, I'm not even going to bother with making the arguments. I'm not even going to bother with connecting the dots. I'm not even going to bother with laying out the facts because people are too stupid. Well, then here's what's going to happen. You'll have flim-flam men and women come along, Harold Hill style, and sell them a bill of goods. That's how we got Barack Obama for 8 years. That's how we're getting a lot of these politicians.
It's the shiny object in the room.
Well, I mean...
They know. They voted for him because they want to tell their grandkids, I voted for the first African-American president.
Well, but...
Which is great. You can still tell them that because you did.
But this is cult of personality politics that I'm talking about, and this is the flim-flammery that people then become susceptible to because what's the other side offering? Different flim-flammery? You're this and the other side is that. You say the other side is this and you're that. Just the label game, the cult of personality game, the cardboard cutout candidate that we need.
Check all the boxes.
It becomes self-fulfilling.
No, minorities.
So perhaps if we did something markedly different, we would produce markedly different outcomes. Perhaps if we sort of elevated our expectations for others, they would elevate their expectations for themselves and what's possible. Just a thought. Bruce in Bloomingdale.
Morning, guys. Dan, the one flaw in your logic is that you cannot reason a person out of a position that they weren't reasoned into in the first place. We need to get it through our heads. The left hates us. They hate us. They hate our smelly Walmart shopping faces to barefaced Peter Stroke. Just yesterday, some nutball in California tried to stab a minor Republican candidate for Congress to death at a town fair.
Yeah.
You think we're going to reason with these people?
No.
Do you think logic and persuasion is going to work on them?
No, but thanks for the call, Bruce. No, not with everybody. But remember, this has never been an everybody proposition. This is a representative republic. This is majoritarian rule, minority rights. So this is a 50% plus one proposition, maybe a 60% proposition, really, to spark a movement in one direction or the other. So, I think there are people that have foundational beliefs that differ, and I think there are a lot of people that struggle with what their foundational beliefs are, and they're susceptible to the cult of personality politics of which I was speaking. But I've never suggested it's a 100% proposition. It never has been. It never will be. But that doesn't mean we don't chart the course that I'm suggesting.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Joyka returns.
Yeah, and
making news this morning.
The Joe in the Joyka suggests that President Trump is the greatest threat to the future of America, a greater threat than Islamic terrorism for certain. He made that point on 9/11. We'll talk about it at 6:36.
And later, how Purdue is upping enrollment one beer at a time. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Outside, skies will remain fair for much of this day. 62 degrees at 6:31. path of Hurricane Florence is shifting as we speak. The probable forecast path now shows the storm shifting toward the southern North Carolina coast and the northern half of South Carolina. People in Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina are boarding up and getting out.
A lot of packing. Yeah, very well may not have a home next week, so we'll see how it goes.
According to the National Hurricane Center, that reported cone of uncertainty is expanding and now may include Georgia. President Trump is confident about the preparedness of the nation as Hurricane Florence bears down.
We are totally prepared. We're ready. We're as ready as anybody's ever been.
Meantime, not everyone is fleeing the Carolina coast. This woman in Myrtle Beach says she's staying.
Well, I've been through a lot of storms, and we feel like that this is our home.
Evacuation orders are in place for the entire South Carolina coast. Other stories we're following this morning. 5 suspects will be arraigned today in the New Mexico compound case. All 5 were indicted yesterday on firearm and conspiracy charges. There's some major talk this morning that tennis umpires will boycott Serena Williams matches. Times of London reporting that discussions about boycotts came after chair umpire Carlos Ramos was verbally assaulted after hitting Williams with 3 penalties, including a game penalty during her U.S. Open women's final match against Naomi Osaka Saturday. Top umpires are also now talking about forming a union, partly because they're not allowed to talk about specific matches. A man is in stable condition after being stabbed at O'Hare. Police say the 2 men got into an argument early this morning on the lower level of Terminal 5. 2 16-year-old boys, a man and a woman, wounded following a shooting on Chicago's far south side. Police tell us it happened near 106th and Bensley. And the Chicago Public Schools will put $40 million into Hyde Park Academy High School. The funds are to improve programs and facilities at the school. It's located across from the proposed Obama Presidential Center, and the open enrollment high school just happens to be the alma mater of CPS CEO Janice Jackson. Jose Quintana struck out 7 over 6 2/3 of shutout ball. Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0. Brad Keller's 7 innings of 1-run ball as the Royals beat the White Sox 6-3. The news service of the Positive Coaching Alliance got issues with youth or high school sports. Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Visit PCADevZone.org. 6:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicagoland Waterproofing and by Tom Mirabaldi, independent agent for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Cutting taxes, appointing conservative justices, and strengthening our military. Donald Trump is working to make America great again, but he can't do it alone. President Trump needs allies in the Senate. Joe Donnelly voted against our tax cuts, and he votes against Trump's policies almost 60% of the time. President Trump needs Mike Braun.
This election is about safety, and this election is about jobs. Democrats want to open borders. Democrats want to raise your taxes. We need Republicans in Congress. We want people like Mike Braun. He's a special man, and he is going to be a truly great senator.
Vote for Mike Braun for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On eastbound I-90, Adams Tollway traffic's jammed. Tri-State Tollway out of the Kennedy. Those delays continue to around Lawrence. And it's also heavy Addison to California and Ohio to the Burn Circle. 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 13 from Montrose, 10 on the Express. Outbound 43 minutes to O'Hare with crash at Addison in the left lane. Eden's inbound 32 minutes. Lake Cook Junction outbound 21. On Eisenhower 46 minutes. 390 to downtown outbound 34. On Stevenson, you get 56 minutes, 355, Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 24 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishopport, 34. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Patchy morning fog expected to crop up in some spots, south and western suburbs primarily. Otherwise, sunny and 80 today. 62 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Whose side are you on? What side are you on? We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Condolences to Comrade Bernie and his beautiful wife, Jane. Levi's their offspring, I think.
Yeah. No, he looks exactly like his dad. He's younger, obviously, but they look about the same age. But yeah, he came in dead last. He got
seventh.
1%. He voted for himself and a few other people.
Yeah, ran for a congressional seat in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, and his dad didn't really do anything to help promote his son, but yeah.
You know why?
That's embarrassing.
Because from each according to their needs, from each according to their means, I guess he didn't feel like Levi needed it. And since he is, wants to be an arbiter of that matter, that's how it goes. You live by the commissar, you die by the commissar.
And what, Bernie didn't have a real job until he was 40?
And if you call that, he was like a mayor of some town in Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah. And still hasn't, but he's done well. And he's put together a record of accomplishment. I think he's got 2 post offices named in his 3 decades in Congress.
Okay.
So, there's that. And, of course, using his bully pulpit to promote totalitarianism. Can't discount that. Speaking of using their bully pulpit, Joe Scarborough wrote an op-ed in the Amazon Post about President Trump. And rather than me read it, I know how you'd like to hear the salient points from the Scarborough op-ed. You'd like to hear it read to you by Mika.
Oh, that's right.
Of course.
His fiancé. Have they got married yet? Are you getting an invite to the wedding?
I'm paying any attention. I've never...
Bridal shower?
I don't think I've ever seen the show.
Yeah. Oh, I've watched it. It's insufferable. The only way to watch it is via Saturday Night Live when they make fun of them.
Yeah.
And they're fawning all these, and their chairs keep getting closer and closer and closer together.
They are ridiculous, and here's an example of it. Mika reading Joe's op-ed from the Washington Post.
Boy.
16 years of strategic missteps have been followed by the maniacal moves of a man who has savaged America's vital alliances, provided comfort to hostile foreign powers, attacked our intelligence and military communities, and lent a sympathetic ear to neo-Nazis and white supremacists across the globe. For those of us still believing that Islamic extremists hate America because of the freedoms we guarantee to all people, the gravest threat Trump poses to our national security is the damage done daily to America's image.
And one more flourish.
Or whether they will continue supporting a politician who has done more damage, and listen to this, more damage to the dream of America than any foreign adversary ever could.
Trump has done more damage to the dream of America than any foreign adversary ever could. Joe Scarborough, a former Republican congressman from Florida, but then he became a media guy. He wanted to hang out with all the Eastern Seaboard elites, and it started to move around a little bit, as often happens to those that are not moored to anything substantive. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is Scarborough right? Trump represents the greatest threat to the dream of America in the world. That's what he said, more than any foreign adversary. The damage he does on a daily basis to America's image. And it's very much like that New York Times anonymous op-ed, Scarborough's, because he's a sort of a, Dumas and not a particularly good writer. So it's generic. It's the same sort of warmed over talking points of the DNC, right? Isn't it? Foreign powers. Be specific. Give me a specific example to support the contention that you're making. There's no specifics. It's just a general litany of aid and comfort to the enemy, ruining America's image, fraying traditional alliances, so on and so forth. Well, give me a topic, and let's talk about it specifically. You want to talk about NATO? You want to talk about Western Europe? You want to talk about Russia? You want to talk about North Korea? You want to talk about China? Let's talk about something specific.
Well, maybe his press conference with Putin that rubbed people the wrong way, but then say it.
Well, yeah. Press conference that rubbed people the wrong way. And I understand that. The press conference rubbed me the wrong way. But Joe Scarborough and his ilk suggested the Helsinki press conference was worse than 9/11. The Helsinki press conference was worse than Pearl Harbor.
Right.
They're out of their minds, and probably they're out of their minds on purpose to play for an audience that's out of their minds or to generate one. It's interesting because there was a gentleman who spoke at the 9/11 ceremony at Ground Zero. Mm-hmm. Did you see that? And his name is Nicholas Harris. He was remembering his mom who was killed in 9/11, 76-year-old mom. And he, in his 2 minutes that he got to speak to remember his mom, had a message for the media about this. Do we have Nicholas Harris? All right, we'll effort that here. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call, kids. Boy, Mika's right. She got me. I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi. As I go to my job to take the drug test so I could pay 50% of my salary in taxes and fees to the freeloaders who don't have to work or take a drug test. Dan, what you were talking about before 6:30, you were right on the button, but you're a man ahead of your time, about 2 years ahead of your time. Let the socialists take over. Let Buddy Hackett Jr. become governor, and when everybody sees they pay an extra $200 to $300 a month more in income tax, it's progressive tax, because it never hits the rich. If you want to see how much more you're going to pay in tax, go and look at the state of Minnesota's progressive taxes. That's what they're modeling their plan on. So you could talk all the rhetoric you want, but until the money comes out of their pockets, people aren't going to wake up. Perfect example was last year. My daughter had her first paying summer job where she was being paid on a check. And when she saw how much they were taking out, the government, She said, what's that for? I said, that's for the people that are too lazy to work. She became a Republican.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Here's the thing I would say about this whole matter of, people aren't going to wake up until this and people aren't going to wake up until that. And you've got these people that are, as our previous caller mentioned, this knife attack of a Republican congressional candidate in California and so on and so forth. The unhinged, the purposeful arsonists, rhetorical arsonists like Joe Scarborough. Do you think that it ever bothered the left that the positions they were taking were not majority positions? Did they not force feed those into law? I mean, no. If, just for example, just to kind of try and crystallize the kind of turnaround in a short amount of time like we've almost never seen in this country's history. Try and find a reference to marriage redefinition, quote-unquote gay marriage, before 1995. Try and find one. Yeah, the Democrat president of the United States wouldn't embrace marriage redefinition until 5 minutes before the Obergefell decision, basically. You know, their titular leader wouldn't embrace it. He certainly wasn't helping it. Want to stay away from it in 08, want to stay away from it in 12, basically. And I'm sorry, what's the law of the land? Right now, it's probably about a 50-50 proposition. So for the past 20 years, or the 20 years leading up to the Obergefell decision, you think that the cultural Marxists and the gay rights types, you think they were worried about, forget it. Forget it. Look at all the people who don't understand our position. Look at all the people who disagree with us. What's the point? Of course not. Motivated minorities. You know, they use bigot baiting, shaming, solidarity and marginality, agitprop. But they didn't say, it's impossible. Because it's not. It's a question of the quality of the arguments we're making, not just in advance of our vision, but in terms of helping people understand the leftist vision, the cultural Marxists, the Ocasio-Cortezes, and the Comrade Bernies, and the Kamala Harrises, a moral pursuit of power by the likes of a Cory Booker. It's your responsibility in the public arena. And so just going back to those points and the political points that Scarborough is trying to score against the president, Nicholas Harris in New York at Ground Zero at the 9/11 Remembered ceremony yesterday.
Mom, I will never forget you with the abundance of love you gave me. And one more thing, if I may. This year, a representative of the House referred to our loss as just another incident. This year, a network commentator said the president's performance in Helsinki was a traitorous act, as was 9/11. And last week, a senator attacked a Supreme Court nominee and called him a racist for alleged comments after 9/11. Stop. Stop. Please, stop using the bones and ashes of our loved ones as props in your political theater. Their lives, sacrifices, and death are worth so much more. Let's not trivialize them or us. It hurts. To my mom and to all of you and your loved ones, never forget.
So you don't think you can get to Nicholas Harris? I mean, he was referencing Cory Booker at the Kavanaugh hearing. He might as well be referencing Scarborough with this whole comparison of the Helsinki press conference to 9/11, for goodness sakes. But there was any number of pundits on CNN and MSNBC, or former CIA directors for that matter, engaged in the same sort of demagoguery. So you don't think you can persuade Nicholas Harris to a position? You don't think people see what elected officials are doing, can read through it? So against the backdrop of the sleight of hand of a Cory Booker be authentic. That's the contrast. That's the opportunity. Connect dots rather than try and beguile others in advance of your political power. Don't say that it can't be done because it's done all the time by the left. So by definition, it can be done.
If you're listening to loud classic rock followed by the most casual of political conversations, it must be Morning Joe.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Investors fleeing insurance companies. Employers advertising more jobs in July than any time since 2000. Amazon selling live Christmas trees now. Those stories next.
Good news. You are not stuck with your health care plan. Really. You have a choice, and it's a great one. It's called MediShare, and if you've heard about it and wondered what exactly it is, it's a way that people share their health care bills, and these are people who have a common faith, who want to be part of something beautiful that not only meets their health care needs, but the needs of others too. And it's people who love to save money, big time. MediShare members typically save $500 a month per family on their health care costs. That is a life changer for people. So this could be for you. Maybe it's what you've been looking for, a way to pay healthcare bills that's not only very smart financially, but it's even profound. MediShare is a nonprofit with 400,000 members nationwide who pray for and share with each other. So yes, you're not stuck. There's another way, and it could save you a lot. Find out more. Call 855-41-BIBLE. That's 855-41-BIBLE, 855-41-BIBLE.
As the Carolinas and Eastern Seaboard evacuate in advance of Hurricane Florence, investors are fleeing insurance company stocks, fearing catastrophic losses. Allstate, Travelers, and other insurers have been pummeled in anticipation of payouts to policyholders. American employers advertising the most jobs in July than in any period since 2000. More and more employees are quitting their jobs to find better, higher-paying jobs in the current tight job market. The proportion of workers leaving jobs hit an all-time high in July. Amazon says it plans to sell live Christmas trees this holiday season, ranging from Douglas firs to 7-foot pine trees. The retailer will start shipping live trees in November. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern, on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Oh, Turnkey IT knows that computer networks and all things IT are the vital heartbeat of any company. However, keeping up with hardware and software to hiring and managing IT staff is costly and time-consuming, but there is a solution. Now your business can have a full-time IT department for only $795 a month. That's what Turnkey IT's all-in small business package is for. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and so much more. Plus new hardware every 4 years. Hey, where can you hire a reliable and highly capable employee for less than $10K per year? You don't have to with Turnkey IT. From one person to 200 employees, it's easy and affordable with Turnkey IT. You run your business, they'll handle the technical stuff. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago. And I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature. So we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
Good morning, my favorite daughter. Welcome to the Auto Hahn Ride Share. I'm your driver, Catherine Hahn. If you'd care for a beverage, just open the Stow and Go storage system and you'll find juice boxes and animal crackers.
Mom, not this again.
In-ride entertainment is available with the UConnect Theater. There's games, apps, and all my favorite movies already queued up.
Bored.
Here at Auto Hahn, safety is our top concern. That's why we only drive the Chrysler Pacifica. Here we are. I expect a 5-star review.
The Chrysler Pacifica. Up your van game. Chrysler is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
It's a fact. Workman's compensation is a mandated and burdensome expense for businesses. You've heard business owners on this station discuss the impact of workers' comp on their bottom line. This burden continues to grow every year. It's important that your company identify the risks you face and do everything possible to minimize your exposure and expense. For over 3 decades, Marty Spiegel and Miles Cahill, recent AM 560 Food for the Poor business benefactors, have effectively defended workers' comp cases on behalf of businesses and insurance companies in both Illinois and Indiana. All of the attorneys at Spiegel and Cahill understand and are sympathetic to the real burden your company faces. They excel at helping you identify and minimize your risks. The Spiegel-Cahill team is committed to being responsive and managing all of your workers' comp costs. To learn more or request a no-obligation workman's comp consultation, call Spiegel and Cahill at 630-455-4070, 630-455-4070, or visit defendingbusinesses.com. That's defendingbusinesses.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Freedom Summit tickets are selling quickly, so don't miss out on your chance to join us on Saturday, October 27th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. This year it's presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement experts. This year's keynote speakers include Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, and the list goes on and on. Get your tickets now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Yeah, Kurt Schlichter from townhall.com will be there. That'll be a rousing good time. Noah Rothman from Commentary Magazine. So some cross-section of opinion on Trump and Republican Party politics should be fun.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Google out the vote at 7:07.
And how the mainstream media completely ignored President Trump's speech in Pennsylvania. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
A Chicago man wanted in an Elgin shooting. Chicago police are investigating after a man was stabbed at O'Hare. Cubs blank the Brewers. Royals top the White Sox in baseball. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
It's another day to get ready or get out before Hurricane Florence hits. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Get out of its way. Don't play games with it. It's a big one. Maybe as big as they've seen.
President Trump says FEMA's ready, and while a lot of people heed evacuation orders, some, like these people in South Carolina, won't leave.
This is where I feel comfortable, and right now I don't see any reason to leave.
We're staying here. We stayed during Matthew and had a ball right here.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says bad idea.
We've ridden out a lot of storms, hurricanes, nor'easters, other events on the coast. But this storm is different.
He says there'll be a dangerous storm surge and perhaps feet of rain that could cause deadly flooding. Fox's Evan Brown's live in Wilmington.
Dave, if they live on the barrier islands, they are under orders to get out. But if they're here on the mainland, many are just boarding up and staying. But that's not without some fear.
This is like the first time I'm honestly nervous. I've never been nervous for any of the other storms.
Angela Keenan's lived here her whole life. Her husband is a lineman, so he'll be working to put the power back on after the storm. Even if they did want to leave, they're not sure where they could go to escape, since Florence is just that big. Storm force winds extend 175 miles out from its center, Dave.
And the president also tweeted about first responders being ready, and he again talked about the response in Puerto Rico last year, calling it an unappreciated great job, even though he wrote it was an inaccessible island with very poor electricity. Hurricane Maria wiped that power grid out, and in the aftermath, nearly 3,000 people died. It's stormy in Hawaii. Tropical storm Olivia moving over the Big Island and Maui in the early morning hours. Some areas could get 15 inches of rain. It's primary day in Rhode Island, the day after they voted in New Hampshire, setting up a House race in November. If Democrat Chris Pappas wins, he'd be the state's first openly gay congressman. If Republican Eddie Edwards wins, he'd be New Hampshire's first black representative in Congress. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Sunshine in Chicago, 62 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A man is in stable condition, stabbed early this morning at O'Hare. Police say two men got into an argument this morning on the lower level of Terminal 5 before one took out a knife and stabbed the other in the stomach. Officers took the suspected attacker into custody. Charges are pending. Both of those men are known to solicit passengers for cab rides, and that's not allowed at O'Hare. Elgin police are searching for a Chicago man wanted for murder following a shooting that killed his sister over the weekend. Police Chief Anna Lally said an arrest warrant has been issued for Shannon Smith after his sister, Sharpie Smith Tate, was shot and killed early Sunday.
We have continuously attempted to locate Mr. Smith through contact with his family, and at this point have exhausted all investigative means to locate him.
Two other women and a man were hospitalized with gunshot wounds. Jury selection continues later today in the murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke after the effort was called off for the day due to a scheduling conflict for the judge. Cook County Treasurer Maria Papp is thinking about joining the mayoral race. Veteran County politician announcing yesterday she is setting up an exploratory committee for a potential run at mayor. Japanese drug maker Takeda closing its U.S. headquarters in Deerfield. The huge three-building complex along the tri-state employs 1,000. The work will be moved to Boston. The company says a number of Deerfield employees will be offered jobs elsewhere. Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0 at Wrigley. Royals topped the White Sox 6-3. The news service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago, Geico now has even more ways to help save you money. Kevin is your local Geico agent and ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. Stop by his local office on Cicero Avenue or call 773-582-8888 for Kevin, your local Geico agent. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America and by Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials, or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you going to allow the government to take your home? Mike S. in Naperville isn't.
At our earliest possible convenience, we're moving out of the state of Illinois.
Neither is Russell O. in Des Plaines.
I'm selling my home and going someplace that I can live without being taxed out of my property.
Illinois has the highest property taxes in the nation. It is a slow-motion government seizure of your home.
My investment in my home was a bad investment.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
7:07 and a check on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Edens is jammed. Old Orchard just past Peterson where there's a crash. It's 40 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, hour and 2 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 32 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 14 minutes to O'Hare. There was an earlier crash near Addison. Eisenhower, an hour 390 to downtown. 42 minutes from Mannheim, outbound 38 to 390. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 39. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays from the Southwest Highway to the Kinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. So on Reagan Tollway, slow 31 to 59. Northbound Veterans Memorial, out in Roosevelt. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Chris Morelli.
Today, look for patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly sunny skies, high 80. Tonight, mainly clear skies with some patchy late-night fog, low 60. Thursday, patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly sunny, seasonably warm. Expect a high of 78. I'm Chris Morelli on AM 560, The Answer.
61 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Did you see this political cartoon in Roll Call? See
With
this?
Yes.
This was yesterday in their Capital Ink section. Roll Call's Capital Ink. The cartoonist is Robert Mattson. The cartoon, if you didn't see it, we'll post it.
That's not a cartoon.
Never Forget is the title of the cartoon. It shows the two towers, the World Trade Center, as ballot boxes with vote inscribed on each.
Yeah, and a plane heading toward one. Yeah.
A plane heading toward the two towers that says Russia on it. Never forget. Russia meddling in the election, tantamount to 9/11.
That cartoonist should apologize and possibly be fired from his or her job. I don't even know who it is.
Well, I like when people show us who they are. So this anti-Trump cartoonist shows us who he is. Ignorant. An ignoramus. Thank you. By the way, on the same day, Wall Street Journal reporting, President Trump expected to sign an executive order as soon as today that would authorize sanctions against foreigners who attempt to interfere in U.S. elections. The order would be the latest effort by the Trump administration to address concerns raised by intel agencies that Russia is seeking to interfere in the 2018 elections after doing so 2 years ago and basically every election since the Bolshevik Revolution. I love this is all sui generis, the idea of foreign adversaries trying to meddle in our affairs. But okay. All right. So there it is. Foreign meddling in the elections. What about domestic meddling? This was a topic that Mark Stein took up because of this email that was exposed by Tucker Carlson at Fox News. Efforts by a Google executive to increase Latino turnout prior to the 2016 presidential election. The email also includes surprise at Trump's performance among Latino voters, where he got almost 30% of the vote, if I'm recalling correctly. A Google spokesman, in response to this email that has not been covered by the D.C. press corps, of course, the views expressed in this email, this is Google spokesman responding, the views expressed in this email are the employee's personal political views and not representative of any official stance from the company. Google's elections efforts, both in 2016 and leading up to this year's midterms, have been entirely nonpartisan. We will continue to use our products in an informative, nonpartisan way to engage voters leading up to November's election. Mark Stein begs to differ.
Well, we should be deeply concerned. As you said, Russia, everyone goes bananas about because they bought 100 grand's worth of Facebook ads or whatever it was. Google is already more powerful in terms of its control over people's lives than almost every government on the planet. And I would say arguably it has more control over American lives than, say, the government of Russia does as a practical matter. And people are very naive about Google searches. They think that it doesn't, whether you're in a hotel in Des Moines or whether you're hanging upside down in your bondage dungeon in Poughkeepsie, when you enter the search results, everything's the same. As this lady, Eliana Murillo, has explained, they're actually capable of now targeting election content specifically to certain voting groups. So this isn't like, rock the vote or public attempts to get out the vote. This is where the world's most powerful company is using data mining to channel partisan election information to key voting demographics. That's very disturbing because they'd steal the election and you'd never know it.
I want to get to the substance of what Stein had to say, but whether you're in a hotel room in Des Moines or your bondage dungeon in Poughkeepsie hanging upside down, I think that was a reference to Eric Schneiderman, former New York Attorney General. I'm not sure, but it was joyful nonetheless. But in terms of what Stein had to say, and what we know to be true, at least the effort by one Google executive in 2016 to drive Latino turnout by shaping the algorithms just so, that a concern for you? It's fine to be concerned about Russian interference or other foreign interference on our elections. Legitimate concern. What about this as a legitimate concern? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I mean, Google executives they're American citizens. They can participate in politics just like I can or anybody else can. But when you participate in politics in a meaningful way to advance the interests of a particular candidate outside of volunteering, you do so providing material support. The same crowd that's very concerned about compliance with FEC regulations when it comes to Trump's hush money payments, well, there's FEC requirements for in-kind donations or direct donations, too. Google acting as a campaign outpost for the Democrat du jour. Does that concern you? Facebook, Twitter? I mean, that's in part why Sheryl Sandberg and Jack Dorsey were whistled before Congress last week, and Zuckerberg before them. And, of course, Google will not deign to appear before Congress to answer questions. That's worth noting as well. CEO declining to appear before Congress at the same time that Twitter and Facebook execs did. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'm happy to talk election meddling, just like I'm happy to talk about collusion, the breaking of campaign finance laws, the breaking of laws in general in the context of the 2016 election. But why do we only have to talk about one half of it? Why do we only have to talk about controversies swirling around Trump? Why don't we revisit all of the evidence presented in Peter Schweitzer's book, Clinton Cash? Why don't we talk about Uranium One? Why don't we talk about the specifics of the DNC hack? Why is there no interest there? Well, when it comes to election meddling, let's talk about Russia. Let's talk about China. Talk about whoever you want to talk about so long as you can present some evidence. But when evidence is presented with respect to social media giants, should this be disclosed? I'm not arguing that the government should come in and regulate Google or Facebook or Twitter. I'm opposed to that. But should it be transparent? Well, that's why we have campaign finance laws. So why can't we talk about concerns of meddling in this area? Why does the D.C. Press Corps refuse to do so? Joe on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thank you. Yeah, Google should be brought up on for breaking campaign laws. They made a monetary support of that candidate, and that they broke campaign laws in doing that. And they should be brought up on it.
Thanks for the call, Joe. I mean,
well, what was their reasoning for not showing up? They just
didn't want to.
Didn't want to. Busy that day, were they?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot going on.
They control your reputation. They can shape elections in a hot second.
You have
by what they put at the top of their search engine when you put in somebody's name.
Well, you also, I mean, you're right. You have you've created a whole industry of reputation management online. All the social media giants have, because people, especially high-profile people like you, Amy, want to control what's on their wiki page and want to control their digital footprint and their digital brand. That's absolutely true.
Don't make me Google you again. You better have cleaned it up. I didn't like what I saw last time.
Yeah.
Everybody Google Dan Proft
the cat
right now.
pictures.
Yeah. It's disconcerting. And when did you start becoming a furry?
I'm not a furry, but I've always.
I know what you did in that hotel room in the drawer when you put the kitty litter in there.
No, that was not me. I've always
dig, pee, flip the kitty litter. Keep it in the box next time.
Always, I know it belies my image, but I'm a Dr. Dolittle type. I'm friends to animals big and small. It's true. I've got a lot of love to give. Jeff and Gurney, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan.
Morning.
Just calling you from my bondage dungeon in my Avalon.
Are you hanging upside down?
Are you experiencing head rush right now?
Yes, I am. All the blood's going to my head. At any rate, no, they're not talking about the felons that have been granted voting rights. 10 states are allowing this to happen, illegal immigrants, motor voters in California. And it seems that
de Blasio in New York City is doing a voter drive in the prisons. He's doing a GOTV effort in the prisons.
That's right. The motor pool is actually taking applications as we speak. But it's so frustrating to see Google, Twitter, Facebook. This lady from Google trying to get the Hispanic vote up, but yet they have no problem just displaying all this stuff about Russia. It's almost like they don't like anybody else muscling in on their territory when they're trying to do the exact same thing themselves. And again, just like when Obama was in office, nothing but deflection. Don't look at me, look at them. And all the while, it's just like the old adage. The people who are stealing, the people who accuse everyone of stealing is the one who's stealing the most. So the one who's upset that people are rigging the elections are the ones that are rigging them the most. So have a great day. Thanks for listening, and talk to you later.
Thanks, Jeff.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Retire with Confidence.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on working with couples in their late 50s to early 60s, preparing them to retire with confidence. So what exactly should they be doing differently at this stage of their lives?
Mike, if you're a couple in your late 50s to early 60s, you really have two big jobs to do right now. The first one is to make sure you don't have a big loss. This close to your retirement, if you think about it, Mike, at this stage of their life, most couples have more money than they've ever had before. And it kind of makes sense, right? And the last thing that they want at this stage of their life, this close to retirement, is to have a big loss, a 2008 type loss, for instance.
That could be devastating, Bill.
Absolutely, for obvious reasons, but also at this stage of your life, your second big job is you want to begin developing a source of dependable, sustainable income that you know how you're going to pay your bills for the rest of your life. And if you have that big loss, you may not have the monies available to set up that source of dependable, sustainable income. So the two big jobs that you have, to summarize, is one, protect what you have. Mm-hmm. Don't have a big loss. Number two, begin developing a dependable, sustainable income stream that you can count on for the rest of your life. So you know how you're going to pay your bills, you can keep from running out of money, and you can leave a legacy. That's retiring with confidence. Mike, I know you're going to talk about this in just a moment, but for the next 5 couples who call in today who have at least $500,000 in their retirement portfolio, we're going to do on a complimentary basis a full-blown retirement plan for them. We're going to work with them on how to set up a plan so they know how to protect what they have, so they know how to create a dependable, sustainable income stream, and so they know, maybe for the first time ever, have that confidence to know that they have a game plan to move themselves into retirement.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
Pat Boone here again for Relief Factor, the company that's helping thousands of people, just like my wife Shirley and me, deal with all kinds of occasional aches and pains. For years, Shirley struggled with her neck, and her shoulder pain kept her from sleeping through the night. A lot of people, just like Shirley, struggle with aches and pains due to aging or exercise. Why don't you order the 3-week Quick Start? It's now only $19.95, and let's see if we can get you out of pain too. Go to ReliefFactor.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about Googling out the vote, as it were, election skullduggery of perhaps an illicit nature with respect to social media companies. Why wouldn't we want to talk about that too? Why wouldn't we want to expose such illicit election skullduggery wherever it exists? Why is the D.C. press corps only interested in Russia? Will and Skokie.
Hey, how you doing? I think the whole thing is basically trying to set stuff up so that from now on, whenever the left loses, they can always claim that there was some kind of irregularities to voting. Even going back as far as Bush v. Gore, they kept saying, well, gee, we'll just keep recounting until we'll get we'll get the count we want. They did the same thing in Minnesota with Al Franken. That was totally a fraudulent election. But
against Norm Coleman.
It's really scary because we're never going to be able now to trust the election process, and that's, I think, what they're ultimately after, is basically doing away with the public's trust of the election process.
Thanks for the call, Will. Speaking of skullduggery.
Oh, the Lovebirds are back in the news this morning, I saw.
Who is your favorite leftist couple? Is it the G-Men, Strzok and Page, or Joyka?
I think Strzok and Page. You know why? Because he's such a little twit. I mean, there was no contrition when he was up there. His fists were, together, ready to fight back. And
yeah, but Joyka has been memorialized on Saturday Night Live.
Isn't that here we go. All right, Mika, you're being dramatic.
No, but here's what I'm sorry.
Hey, Mika Mouse, Mika Mouse.
What's happening? And here's
you're
what
being
I
a little
say.
stinker.
But let me
You're
finish
being a little
what I wanna
stinker.
say.
Hey,
I'm not being a
Mika
stinker.
Boo.
Am I being
Mika
a
Boo.
stinker?
Yeah. You're being a stinker, and it's not going to work.
Yeah? PU, I guess.
And they start mauling each other, of course.
And then eventually she sits on his lap.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to see Strzok and Page parodied as well. They're difficult to parody, admittedly. More text exchanges out.
Between the lovebirds.
That's right. Something else you won't probably get much coverage of from the D.C. press corps.
Should we cue the romantic music, or is this more of a sinister tone?
Well, this is more of Mark Meadows, Republican congressman, releasing a timeline characterizing the text messages, so we don't have a lot of pillow talk here. Sorry.
We're going to stop him.
April 10th of last year, 2017, Strzok contacts Page to discuss a media leak strategy.
Oh, here we go.
The
it just got interesting. Oh, yeah. Media leaks. Let's do
text.
it, honey. Come on, baby. How much do you love me?
That is hot. Media leak strategy. The text from Strzok. I had literally just gone to find this phone to tell you I want to talk to you about media leak strategy with DOJ before you
stop.
go.
Say it in your dirty voice.
This is how Strzok talks.
Come on. Hey, I want to meet you to tell you about some leaks. I don't have that paper in front of me.
Yeah.
Or I'd play along.
Uh-huh.
I take two.
All right. I'll do it in my best David Gergen to get you worked up.
Cue the music. He's going to do
Here,
David Gergen.
Hold on. Let me comb over my hair. And go full Gergen.
I don't know what it is about David Gergen.
Nobody
he
does
should make
else
a
does either.
calendar.
Yes.
I want to see the month of June.
That's a Freedom Summit. You can get exclusive copies of Amy Jacobson's David Gergen tribute calendar. April 12th, 2 days later.
Yes.
Strzok congratulates Page on a job well done, referring to 2 derogatory articles about Carter Page. Strzok warns Page that 2 articles are coming out, one that is worse than the other about Carter Page, and tells her, well done, Page.
Well done, Paige.
Yeah.
I'll see you later tonight.
No.
Darn it.
You're ad-libbing
Darn it.
now.
Come on. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Yeah. So that was on April 22nd of last year. And this is how you memorialize any romantic relationship. You timestamp everything so you can go back through it.
Right.
Yeah. 410. Remember on 410? Remember that was so great? I said media leaking strategy, and then 2 days later, I sent you 2 articles, and then 10 days later, I said the article's out. Well done.
Uh-huh.
Remember those times?
Oh, yes,
those were
I
good
remember
times. Strzok's attorney. I love talking about Peter Strzok over 50 Shades of Grey. Strzok's attorney said in a statement that the media leak strategy refers to a department-wide initiative to detect and stop aides sharing information with the media. Yeah. I don't know how that could possibly square with the article is out, well done, Page, regarding to leaking an article to the media, as opposed to stopping aides from sharing information to the media. They were sharing information with the media. That's what Strzok and Page were doing and placing stories. So just in terms of,
and that's fraudulent and biased behavior.
Right. And
plain and simple.
And this was a guy who, was allegedly Torquemada to Hillary Clinton, the Grand Inquisitor on these 2 important cases in the 16th cycle into last year. And the more information you get on these 2, the more it looks like they were actually trying to execute some sort of insurance policy, contingency plan to undermine, disrupt, delegitimize the President of the United States. The senior level of the FBI. Again, something that's of no interest. That election meddling, not interesting. Google, social media, not interesting. $100,000 in Facebook ads from Russia, the world stops. Okay.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we have one of my favorite people in the world.
Do you like him more than Gergen?
Ooh, that's a close call, but Mike Huckabee will be here.
Yeah, I mean, they're both super handsome.
I can't wait
gentlemen.
to ask him how he and his wife handle, the comments made about their daughter.
Well, also, U.S. job openings hit 17-year high. Business creation, business starts at an all-time high. Obviously, we have President Obama to thank for that, so we'll ask Mike Huckabee about it at 7:37.
And later, did President Trump have his good job brownie moment? We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
I'm sure David Gergen would be a lot more hot if he hadn't borrowed Lou Henson's hair. If he hadn't borrowed Lou Henson's hair, Lou do. He did. He borrowed it. He's got to give it back. 61 degrees, blue skies and sunshine here in Chicago at 7:30. We are tracking Hurricane Florence with you. She is on a new path this morning. The probable forecast path now shows the storm shifting toward the southern coast of North Carolina and the northern half of the South Carolina coast, where people in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, are boarding up and now getting out.
A lot of packing. Yeah, very well may not have a home next week, so we'll see how it goes.
According to President Trump, FEMA, first responders, and law enforcement are prepared for the monster hurricane.
The safety of American people is my absolute highest priority. We are sparing no expense.
The president tweeting out this morning the category storm looks even bigger than anticipated as it barrels toward the East Coast. Here in Chicago, a man is in stable condition, stabbed at O'Hare. Two men got into an argument early this morning on the lower level of Terminal 5. Both men who are involved in that altercation are known to solicit passengers for cab rides. One of the suspected attacker, one of the men, taken into custody. Elgin police continue their search for a Chicago man wanted for murder following a shooting that killed in Smith. The incident began when several people started arguing outside of a bar, the D Hangout Bar and Grill, and then gunfire erupted. Hotel workers in Chicago entering their sixth day of a walkout. Thousands of employees at over 24 hotels have been striking since last Friday. The U.S. military says human remains found decades ago on a Pacific island have been identified as those of a Northwest Indiana man. The Defense POW MIA accounting agency says PFC Leonard Tima's remains were identified using dental and other records. The 21-year-old from Dyer, Indiana, died November 20th, 1943. Chicago sports, Jose Quintana and the Cubs blanked the Brewers 3-0, the lefty notching win number 13 on the year. Brad Keller threw 7 innings of one-run ball, helping the Royals top the White Sox 6-3. The news service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America inviting you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always wants the truth.
Other than improving, how has the United States changed since Donald Trump became president? Tell me a way in which it has become worse. They make up lies. There's more racism, there's more anti-Semitism. It's all lies. You know that in your own life. They make up things. They just make up things. They have to, because leftism is total myth.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Supporting veterans is our passion. That's why we support Veteran Roasters, a Chicago coffee roaster that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you'd like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, visit veteranroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee roasted and ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee's delicious, and the profits are reinvested in hiring additional homeless veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. If you're a veteran securing a VA loan and would like to work with a local lender who supports veterans, call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help 560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonti.
Southbound tri-state traffic is jammed. Lane Cook to Dundee, crash in the two left lanes. Northbound on the tri-state, heavy from Southwest Highway, Hinsdale Oasis, Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and Oakton to